So someone posted this little quick script of how to animate in Grasshopper a series of images using the merge command and the simple frame operator from frame counter from Firefly. And a few people were asking about how they achieved this and a bit of reluctance on teaching, so I thought since I wasn't doing anything, I'll jump in and give you a quick demonstration. I'm going to do it a bit differently, but the exact same sort of concept works. You can take the data and do it exactly the same way. I have a folder with my horse images. I'm just going to copy that directory. I click here, horse 00.png. This isn't what I was planning on doing, but there was a few people asking how, and it looked like a bit of fun because I don't do much animation with Grasshopper. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay. 11, 10, 9, 8, and 7. Cool. So there's a list of all our PNGs. We can simply right click and set that to non-multi-line. What we're going to do is we're going to put in a list item component, very similar to what the guy on Facebook had. And if we put in a 0 to 11 slider, just to make sure we're getting the right 0, 1 through to 11. Perfect. So now if we want to animate this and see it, instead of doing it the way he did, you can do it any way. You can use your bitmap sampler to get the data out of pixels and whatnot. But for this, I just want to do it really quick. Image, import image, and take the file path. There's our image. And if we slide through it, it should change. Perfect. Okay, so to automatically animate this, one way of doing it is Firefly. Under utility, we've got the counter. We've got count direction, yeah. Step 1, true, reset. We'll put a button there just in case we need to reset. This is a simple little component. This is our domain. Because we want it to loop over 0 to 1000, it will just keep looping because we've got wrap set to true on our list item component. Otherwise, it will just stop at 11. And if we stick that in there, and then just a counter timer, you can say update every 50 milliseconds. Now this is nice, this is okay. There's nothing wrong with this. But it's a bit clunky how we have to put in every single line of every image independently. And let's say for some reason we've got a project where we have to do this on a regular basis. Let's stop this. Let's say we have multiple folders with different, let's just do it a bit more of an efficient way. So I'm going to close this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to jump into a new Grasshopper component. I'm going to get rid of okay, so this is a fresh Grasshopper component. We're going to create a new plugin, and all we're going to do is Grasshopper animation, just say we're going to do this on a regular basis. We're going to make a public static int chord count, and we're going to give it 0. The name of our plugin will be GH Animation, GHA, which is stupid because that's the file type. No description under params and util. We're going to register the inputs we're going to need, so we'll need 2 inputs. We're going to create a add text parameter. This will be where we put our folder. That will be the folder in which our images are located. folder with images as our description, and our GH_param access will be an item. And our second input will simply be this keyboard Boolean. I'm going to call it reset. No, run. What have I done here? Now it's full Boolean. Okay, run and R and GH_param access item, and we're going to give it a default of false. That's it for our inputs. For our outputs, of course, we want to output the pmanager, and text is going to be the file path to the individual images. So we just got this images I, and our param access will be an item. Okay, so we've created a public static counts, 2 inputs, 1 output, and now we just have to decide what we're going to do every time we run this. So first things first, we need a string for our images. We'll just create an empty string, create a boolean, run equals false. Now we will get our data from our input, so it's as simple as DA get data, reference 0, which will reference our folder, and we'll reference that to our images string. And DA get data 1, which is our run function, ref run. And it does it for getting the data from our inputs. Now we want to make this parametric, so we want our folder, whatever our folder is being input, we want to just get the images in that folder. So create a new empty string array, file paths equals directory dot get files in the directory, and the directory that we want to get our files from will be at images. At images. And correct that, please. And then we need to set this data to our output. So da.set data 0 file paths, and what the count is the index of that list that we're going to grab will be whatever we are in our count, and then each time we solve our instance of our little brand new component, we want to run the counter up. So we know we can get the list, we can get the length of this. I can't be bothered doing that. I know how many. If run and count is less than 11, then we're going to add 1 to count. Else if run and count is equal to 11, then we're going to count equals 0, and that should create a loop. And then finally else, so if run is not true, else count is equal to 0. So what have we done? Created a new class variable of count, created our component, we've put 2 inputs for the folder and whether we want to run the animation, key manager is to output parameter, which is simply text, which will be individual file paths to the images in the folder. So we get the folder in, we look in that directory to get all the images and add them onto our images string, our string list, and then simply we loop over to go. So if we build, succeeded, thank God, back into Rhino, reload my Grasshopper assemblies, which you should only use if it really solves a problem you're having. So now if we come under our params utility, no, it's not playing, let's just restart Rhino. Jump back in the Grasshopper. That's a real tricky little reload assemblies, doesn't work all the time. This should have automatically in the build events copied the DLL into our thing. Looks like it's there, so if we go down, we've got our new GH animation component with our two inputs. So we have the folder and we have the run. Runs quick, runs a button. Actually no, we want toggle. And then we need the file path. So we'll just come down here, we'll grab our horse file path. This can be now all we need to do is put in our image. So instead of going through every single image, you could have 100 images or more. So there's our image again. And if we put a timer, we set it to true. Every second that's going to update. Increase that back up. And because of our little if statement, it should loop indefinitely. Which of course we could put a little bit more logic, but instead of having, a list of 100, 1,000 images, we can just put in the domain a little quick logic into our own custom component, and there we're sorting through the data. And that's the power of Grasshopper mixed with a bit of C#. Alright guys, look, that was a really quick one, just because of some comments on Facebook. Hope someone found that helpful, and if you're interested in anything else, like and subscribe. I plan on doing some more advanced stuff, but I'm pretty busy at the moment, so cheers.